When I make a build, it has to have a specific rhythm to the activity that I'm doing. And when I went from my Parashocka G with the Warlock over to my Hunter, I was shocked at how weak and squishy and unprepared that I always felt unless I had a super. So I tried every exotic, I tried different perks like distribution. Nothing just had a right feel to it that kept me running and gunning to where I was satisfied. Orpheus Rig felt kind of cheap, and I just wanted something different, new, fresh, something that was beast, and I introduced to you the Windwalker. Let's get started. For all you fashion freaks who ask what shaders that I use on a lot of my builds, I use Bloody Tooth on this build. Everything except for the cloak and the helmet has Bloody Tooth, but combo it however you want to do. Now let's talk about the subclasses and build for that. Disorienting Blow. Have a charged melee a yellow bar or an orange bar or anybody, and them and anybody around them gets disoriented, so you can figure out what you need to do, take them out, or get out of there to heal. Your option. So your shield always gets busted in Gambit Prime. There's a lot of beefy enemies in there, especially if you're on a Hunter, so you get a rapid increase in your melee and your grenade recharge whenever your shield busts. Really beast to have, and it's going to come into play fine with these armor perks as well. And then we have Lightning Reflex, which you are harder to kill while dodging. That happens to me quite a bit. I jump right in the middle of the ads, my shield bust, I'm almost dead, I hit dodge, and then they somehow knew where I was going to dodge, and I'm blown away. Never again with Lightning Reflex. And finally, Focus Breathing. Sprinting increases your dodge ability. We're definitely going to be building with all this stuff, but especially this one comes in handy, and you also go faster and run quick, which is always a plus. Go with Gambler's Dodge. Dodging near an enemy fully recharges your melee, so the more disorienting you can do, the more chance you're going to stay alive. So always keep this class and Gambler's Dodge on. And now that we know all of the subclass perks, let's build for it. But first, let's talk about the stats of this armor. You know that I've always been a huge mobility fan, but when it comes to this build, you kind of have to pick and choose what is the most important. And what was most important was the recovery on this build. Some of the armor you'll see in this video, you might have the same helmet, but the stats on your version might be different than my version, and that's because there's always 3 versions of stats each armor piece can be, and that's the heavy version for the Hunter, the mobile version, and the survivalist, and then the Warlock and the Titan have their own versions of stats they can also be, so you might have the same piece of armor as somebody else, but the stats could be different depending on that. Just wanted to say that before we got started, but let's talk about the helmet first. So this is the Last Wish Raid Chest helmet that I got. You can get it from doing the raid or from the Last Wish Raid Chest, which I do every week. It's a 1 mobility, 2 recovery, but put a recovery mod on it and use enhanced heavy lifting in this build. You're always going to be getting a lot of super just from killing things in general, but the game feeds you heavy ammo pretty regularly, especially with some of the perks we're going to talk about later. You're always going to have heavy ammo, and there's a lot of orange and yellow bars that you're normally going to use heavy ammo on, and that's where you're going to rely getting majority of your super energy from. You can use whatever bottom perk you want for your reserves or your scavenger. That's completely up to the weapon of choice that you're going to be using. I highly recommend rockets with this build, but you can use whatever you want to use. That's just what I like to do. I just like those shut it down quick type weapons, but that is what you need for the helmet. Now moving on to the arm piece, these are the Tangled Web grips. If you can get the enhanced version of Impact Induction, do that. Put a grenade charge on it, and make sure it's 2 mobility and 1 recovery for the stat. That's also the Survivalist Hunter armor as well. It comes in a mobile and a heavy version also, and then whatever finder you want, or a reserve or scavenger on the bottom perk there. But it's 4 seconds off your grenade every melee hit that you do, with a 6-second cooldown in between melee hits. And then on top of that, you also have that grenade mod taking you from 1 minute and 20 seconds down to 1 minute. So you're constantly working towards getting the grenade back so you can get other, kills and just surviving basically, and then you mix it in with the heavy lifting or the enhanced heavy lifting, and it works hand in hand. Now onto the chest piece, Lucky Raspberry. I didn't really like this chest piece after it got nerfed, but it's actually not bad at all. It's actually beast in Gambit Prime especially. That is where I only like it at. 2 mobility, 1 resilience, and then 2 recovery. All the stats on this chest piece remain the same, so your version will be the same as my version, and then whatever mid perk you want to on the chest piece, and bottom perk you want for the scavenger or the ammo finder. But this has the improved arc bolt chain grenade, and also it has a chance to give it back to you if you just hit somebody with it, and it automatically gives it back to you if you chain 3 at a time with it. So what that means is, run in the middle of any fight, had that grenade, throw it down, you have that chance of getting it back, which I just did right there. Now I'm jumping back in the fight. I'm gonna go ahead and knock this guy out. What do you know, I got it back again. Run into an orange bar, throw it down, get it back. Now we're gonna take this dude out and get it back again. It's just constant run and gun survival. And then you run into this big dude right here. Then you got that rocket launcher that I recommend using. Blow that dude back, and you have that 9 recovery to get you back inside the fight. And then take this dude out, get some of that enhanced heavy lifting action. Now for the leg pieces. This is where it is the survivalist version for this armor as well. Throw a recovery mod on it. 1 resilience, 3 recovery. The mobile version of this comes with mobility, all mobility basically. So don't go with that version. It will lack your recovery, and it won't be a good thing when it comes to Gambit Prime. But we're going to be using Enhanced Bomber. You can use regular Bomber also, but I recommend the Enhanced version always over the regular version, of course. And then whatever bottom perk you want. But every time you dodge, it's going to help give 10 seconds back off your grenade charge. Also going with the impact induction, going with the grenade charge mod, and then all that kind of revolves around each other. And then you have the subclass perks that we talked about earlier that also rapidly increases that as well. So everything kind of goes hand in hand when it comes to beasting, running, and gunning. So jump up in here, do the dodge to get our grenade back. Now throw the grenade at this guy. Now we have the lucky raspberry chest giving it back to us. Throw it again. We got easy kills in the blink of an eye with this. Now we're going to activate the impact induction and the disorienting. Take that guy out. Boom. Watch this entire battle scene unfold. We throw the grenade, we chain 3, we get it back, we didn't chain enough so we didn't get it, so I do the dodge to get 10 seconds off my grenade. I find somebody here to impact induct them to get 4 more seconds, so now we're 4 seconds off. We're doing a little bit of running, so we're getting that dodge back. Every bit of forward that we go goes towards to getting that dodge back. We get some better devil action going. Somebody blasts this guy with a super. We got him out of the way. I get that heavy ammo right there. Throw it in. The dodge is almost back. We do the impact induction. We do the dodge to get 10 more seconds off. That was a 14-second decrease. The grenade is now back, just in time to throw it at that big Colossus back there. We blow him down with some better devil shots. We got that heavy ammo from earlier, so we take some damage off of him, but it's not going to be enough. But luckily we got enough time to get that grenade back to do enough damage to take him out with better devils. It all plays and rolls out perfectly. Run into another huge guy here, do the dodge, get that back, throw it at him, get in his face, just enough damage to eat him up with better devils. And finally we have the cloak. So of course taking armaments, because during the boss fight, as we talked about earlier in the Arcadia video, those tips for the Reaper builds in Arcadia, having that in Gambit Prime is essential to winning most of the time. You get all that heavy ammo and then recuperation, so when you touch those orbs, you're staying alive in battle, and then whatever reserve you want for whatever weapon you're going to be using. For those who don't know what recuperation is, when you touch an orb, which you're always making with Masterwork weapons, it gives half of your health back immediately without the recharge rate of it. Here we are at the boss fight. Throw the grenade out. Got the taken armaments giving us 2 more rockets. Then we got the grenade back because of the lucky raspberry chest piece, and we get 2 more rockets. So plenty of heavy ammo to get encountered for this boss fight, and I'm going to show you how all of this plays out right now. Got that rocket. Let's go ahead and shut them down and get busy doing some DPS. Now we have plenty of heavy ammo. We are behind right now big time, but luckily we have a good team that has a good super. I have a ton of heavy ammo to go around. We're about to get invaded on, but it doesn't even matter. We're going to keep doing some damage. Now we're caught up. He puts his shield up, so I take off, and I don't have all of my abilities ready yet. So we're waiting on that grenade to come back. It's going to come back just in time because of that grenade charge mod was just enough. I didn't really need to waste my dodge. Then I pick up 2 heavy ammo. Then they dropped a brick as well, so I get 2 more. We take that wizard out, take off to the other wizard. We got that heavy ammo, so we're going to go ahead and waste one to get to that boss DPS a little bit faster. Do the dodge to take that 10 seconds off. It's anybody's game at this point. Do the rocket again to shut them down. And now we have all that heavy. We're about to go ahead and just shut this boss down and walk home with that win with the old staff. It's such a beast setup that it can't afford to have anything changed on it. So don't go distribution or other perks unless you have the enhanced version of those other perks, like the enhanced impact induction or whatever. But distribution, the problem with it is you have to dodge only when you're around AI, and sometimes you'll find yourself getting too greedy just to do a dodge next to them that you'll end up getting yourself killed. And you're getting your super energy back just fine. You're getting your melee back when you do a dodge near the enemy. And then when you're running from point A to point B, you're always going to have a dodge. And if you don't have your grenade ready or you don't have any AI around, you can just do the dodge to discharge your grenade that way as well. And the distribution only does 5 seconds off. instead of what 10 seconds will do on the enhanced version of the grenade and the melee. But the bomber, enhanced bomber, just for the grenade is really all you need to focus on, because that's what you need to get it back to proc the lucky raspberry chest piece with your grenade mod, the impact induction. Everything just revolves around it constantly with the taken armaments, shield disorient right there, do the dodge, get 10 more seconds off. It's just non-stop. We're about to have our grenade back. I got my dodge ready for that, so I can just do that to get it back. And the way that things play out constantly are just so perfect. Blow that explodey up on him and shut him down with the timeline vertex. Bust a dodge right here to get set up for this wizard encounter. Go ahead and blow them up because I have a little bit of heavy to spare. Impact induction to get that grenade. Now we're almost ready. We have that run going to charge the dodge ability. The grenade is back now. Thank God we had that grenade mod. That's all that's needed on this build. Shut this one down. We have the grenade now. We need a little bit more heavy. So let's go ahead and throw that grenade to proc the taken armaments. And then we have an invader to deal with, but luckily we have so much heavy to go around for everybody, and also work on our enhanced heavy lifting to charge the super in case we need it later during the combat. It always procs, everything works, all the perks are going on. We got the grenade out, lucky raspberry hits 3, so it gives it back to us. So we throw the grenade again, along with all the rockets we collected as well. It's just non-stop with this build. Do the dodge to get 10 seconds off when we have time, and just keep going over and over. Sweep these acolytes out of the way. We almost have our grenade back. Go ahead and do the dodge to top it all off to stay prepared to run and gun with. That's pretty much it, Guardian. That is the Windwalker build. I really hope you enjoy this as much as I do. Grind it out, get it, it will not let you down. When it comes to weapon choice with this build, use whatever you want for your energy and your heavy, but I highly recommend checking out Better Devils with explosive rounds. I found that to be extremely useful against harder hitting adds, especially with the Hunter jump compared to the Warlock and Titan. Just having that extra bit of damage to hop around with really does come in handy. The overall splash damage and shared damage, it just comes in clutch sometimes. But that's it, dudes. I hope you enjoyed this build. Let me know in the comments when you finally get it and try it out. I'd like to know what you think about it as well. It plays just like the Parashocka G for the Warlock, and that's exactly what I was looking for GAMBIT Prime. Y'all take it easy, and I'll catch y'all next time in space.